SeaWorld Orlando is one of Florida's premier theme parks, and recently I had a chance to visit the park on a warm March weekday. And today I'm going to detail a lot about my experience at the park, and my overall thoughts on a lot of the rides, food, shows, etc. And without further ado, let's get straight into my review of SeaWorld Orlando. This is a category that SeaWorld has really tried to focus on in the past few years, with 3 new roller coasters being added in the past 3 years, 2 of which being from Bollinger and Mebillard or B&M. And this park actually has the record for the most B&Ms of any park in the world. Unfortunately for SeaWorld, this does kind of oversaturate the lineup, but I think that a lot of the individual rides have a lot of strengths. Now, let's run down the top 3 at this park, starting with number 3, Icebreaker. Unpopular opinion, but I think that this ride is better than Kraken. A lot of people say Kraken is the best floorless coaster, but I just didn't get the hype. Kraken was rough, slow, and a little too drawn out to be an elite ride in my eyes. Icebreaker, on the other hand, was a fun, somewhat intense launch coaster. But this ride doesn't come without its drawbacks, most notably in the trains. Icebreaker's trains were very cramped and very tight to get into, not to mention being incredibly claustrophobic while on the ride. But if you can look past that, it's a fun ride with some really good forces. And that brings us to number 2, Pipeline the Surf Coaster. Pipeline is a really fun and unique ride. At first, I didn't expect the standing to work very well at all, but oh my god, did the airtime deliver. It is such a bizarre sensation getting lifted up off the ground while already getting ample airtime. The launch is fun, and the little hill in the middle of the launch gives you a taste of the airtime. But the real airtime starts on the first element after that large bank turn. You get flung out of your seat for what feels like an eternity. Other than that, I really like the look of the ride, and the trains look very nice. Unfortunately, similar to Icebreaker, the trains do have some slight issues. The biggest of which for me was that the vest would really dig into my collarbone. Even after just stepping into the restraint, it felt a little uncomfortable. But that is pretty much my only complaint about this really unique stand-up coaster. And that brings us to number 1, Mako. Mako is a clinic of a hypercoaster. The drop is good, the restraints are freeing, and every element will more likely than not leave you with a smile on your face. The 5-second airtime hill 100% lives up to the hype. Trust me, if you get a little room in your restraint, you will be out of your seat for a long time. Not to mention, with the new paint job, the ride looks absolutely amazing. The deep purple track and dark blue-green supports look very nice. Also, the Zero car, the trains as a whole, and the queue and station area look amazing and really tie you into the theme well. While I still think Diamondback is the best B&M Hyper, this ride isn't far off. And maybe if I got another ride or 2 on it, play the clip of why that didn't happen, it may have even beat Diamondback. Anyways, Mako is a great ride. It makes for a great number 1 roller coaster at SeaWorld Orlando. Shows used to be SeaWorld's thing. Well, up until a few years ago. The reason for which I will not be going over in this video. But that doesn't mean that someone can't enjoy a show at SeaWorld today. I'm not the typical show type, but I thought I would try watching 1 or 2 at SeaWorld since that's what used to be their thing. I ended up going to the Orca Encounter, and overall, I thought the show was okay. I mean, the orcas did some pretty cool tricks and dives, but the presentation, as a whole, was mostly informational. Which is fine, but the way they presented it was a little weird. I personally feel that they should have spent more of the time discussing things us as spectators could do to help save the orcas, instead of pointing to themselves as the sole savers of the ocean. At least, that's kinda how it came across to me. Maybe they just couldn't pack that into a 20 to 30 minute show, which, by the way, felt very short considering most people got there 15 to 20 minutes before the show actually started. If I visited on a very busy day near Christmas or another major holiday and had to waste almost an hour of my day on this one show, I would understandably be a little mad. But the shade and views from the stadium were pretty nice. So, go figure, I guess. Food is always an interesting subject when it comes to theme parks. Some parks can have really good food, but for the most part, you are getting pretty much gas station level food at movie theater prices. In the case of SeaWorld Orlando, the food itself was above average. The chicken tenders I had were well breaded and seasoned, and the fries had copious amounts of seasoning as well, which is a large plus. The service, on the other hand, left quite a few things to be desired. It took a significant amount of time to actually get our food, which is definitely something to consider. Overall, this is a category that SeaWorld should definitely try to excel at, especially since large chains of parks like the Legacy Cedar Fair parks have a very good standard of food, especially for a very large chain. SeaWorld can do way better. One category that I think SeaWorld definitely excels at is in theming. The areas around all the rides, as well as their queues, look like significant amount of time has been put into making them look nice and well put together. Also, lots of areas around the park, especially ones with animals around them, have nice little rock elements and lots of greenery. It may not seem like a lot, but it definitely adds to the overall feel of the park. Good job, SeaWorld. SeaWorld Orlando is a complicated park. On one hand, there are some really, really good things about SeaWorld Orlando. For one, the coaster lineup has a great argument for being the best in Orlando, and the theming around the park is really good. I mean, it isn't Disney or Universal level, but it is leagues better than your average Six Flags park. However, there are quite a few things about SeaWorld Orlando that just aren't up to the standard set by the other Orlando parks. And maybe this is due to the identity crisis SeaWorld seems to be having over the past few years. If they're trying to market this as a family or animal park, it doesn't work because the shows and family attractions are mediocre at best. And if they're trying to market it as a thrill park, they simply don't have enough really good thrill rides and roller coasters outside of the top 3 or 4, depending on how you look at it. But this is fixable. If SeaWorld really tries to focus on one of these options and really lean into that family or thrill dynamic, this could be a really solid theme park. I think that this place is 2 to 3 big new rides away from becoming a real option for a lot of families in Orlando. But for now, I think it just falls short in one too many categories to be considered a really good option in the area. And that is going to do it for my SeaWorld Orlando review. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.